One, two, three.
How is this almost June? It is so cold. On today's episode on Storm Chasers, clearly, on today's episode of Free Unsolicited Cooking Knowledge, I'll be giving you a farm update. Welcome back, little spades. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I'm what? The missing plant in your garden. As you saw, today we are doing a farm update, and actually this video is going to look a little different than the videos you've seen up until this point. I really want to be transparent with my audience, and I think today I will give you a little bit of a peek into my personal life as well as the plans for this farm. It's been very hard lately, and I kind of just need to get off my chest how my life kind of really is. But there are some positives I'm going to show you as well. But I'm just keeping it real. That's the whole point I started this channel, and I'm very thankful for your support. So anyway, if you're ready, I think I'm ready. Let's get into it. Okay, first things first. On the positives, my beets have sprouted. There's also an invasive weed. I forget what it's called. I don't know, maybe I'll insert it. It's kind of been taking over. Also, my leaves blew out, but they still sprouted. I'm gonna give it maybe a couple of more weeks. I want them about 1 inch to 2 inches bigger before I start thinning them out to make individual beet plants. Also, if you are not from the Southern Ontario region, this is really odd weather we've been having. I think the last frost was May 11th, I have to check, but it has been severely cold, and we are on day 4 of pouring rain. Like, I'm in like my hunting gear because it's freezing. Cody has like a winter hat and his winter coat on. And a thermal fleece sweater. So I don't know what's gonna happen with these plants, but they've come in, and I'm very happy they sprouted, so I'm good there. These are gale force winds out here. Okay, let's move on to the next box of something actually I didn't show you, so come on, let's go. Shout out Tim Hortons, not sponsored. Keep me going. Anyway, I planted strawberries. I did not plant these from seed because I am a lazy farmer sometimes, clearly. But these strawberries I bought from Canadian Tire, shout out, not sponsored. That is a sponsor I want, don't care. It's gonna happen. One day, I'm gonna clip back to this. I manifested it, okay? Canadian Tire is sponsoring me. One day. Anyway, strawberries have a root system that are called runners. So they grow and then they sprout other roots that create other plants around it. I was supposed to put straw down, and I will when I get around to it. But I will put straw down for sure going into winter. These are a perennial plant. They last about 2 to 3 years. That's their lifespan. Probably longer. This is my first time experimenting with strawberries. I love strawberries, but for some reason I feel like these are not on track, probably because of how cold it's been. So we're just gonna have to see. So thank you, Mother Nature. Also, another part of my, life of living here is I have a million projects on the go. This box is falling apart. I used very old wood that we brought from our old house, actually. It's falling apart, so I'm gonna take it down. I may build another one down the road, but it's becoming an eyesore, and I'd rather just grass here for right now. So add that to the list. Anyway, I forgot to mention in this box, I haven't de-weeded because these are mostly like tomato seedlings. Isn't that hilarious? This is my experiment. I'm just letting it grow to see what actually comes of it. But the seeds from last year have germinated and created this. Also, as you can see, we have tilled the land. I haven't, because I don't even know how to explain it. My dad won't allow me to. I have convinced him to plant the back part of the land, but there is a little bit of an issue. I did a soil test on it last year, but it wasn't really tilled. It's a very sandy loam soil, very little clay to it. So I don't know what that looks like for the plants. So we could lose everything, or it could be the best crop in the entire world. But I am doing soil amendments on the front part. But let's get into the greenhouse because I'm too cold. So follow me. Okay, we are in the greenhouse. It is not much warmer in here, but at least we do not have the gale force winds attacking us. So basically, this is where I'm gonna give you my vulnerable moment and the history of me, this channel, where I wanna go with this channel. So a few years ago, Cody and I uprooted our lives and moved from the city. We moved back to my parents' farmhouse. The history of this farm is that my dad and my 2 uncles who also live on the property had a tomato farm where they would grow tomatoes. It was pick your own, or people would come and buy bushels of tomatoes. As they got older, you know, that kind of petered out. My dad also worked full-time construction, so it wasn't his full-time gig. But I grew up mainly on a tomato farm, and my father just wouldn't really sit me down to teach me how to do it. I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but here we are. But also my dad and I do not get along. And I mean that, like, I think that he is just upset that I, out of all his children, is the one that moved back home. He loves Cody. Cody is his adopted son. He loves him so much, which I'm happy for. But my dad and I do not get along because, you guessed it, we are the exact same person. So we drive each other mad. With that said, my dad has been a gatekeeper of information since I was a child. So this is why I decided to go back to school to get my horticultural diploma. I wanted to do much more than tomatoes. I wanted to turn this farm into a small scale farm on my terms, growing more than tomatoes, doing a lot more succession planting, having a lot more vegetables throughout the year. You know, it's the dream. It's literally the dream. Anyway, so I went back to school, got on beyond honor roll. I was so proud of myself. My dad thinks it's a wasted time. So in case you want to know a peek into my personal life, that's what I have to work with. But with that said, within the program, there was a class called Capstone, and you had to get an A basically on this project. It didn't matter if you were doing amazing in all your other classes, you needed to get an amazing mark on this final project in order to pass the program. Capstone project basically was taking everything you've learned within the program, encompassing it into a project that you can present to society that benefits the world. And I decided to do what I've been wanting to do for many, many years, and it was like the spark of why I wanted to move back home and do all this. I created a nonprofit called Farm to Enable, which through my YouTube channel, Patreon, and donations, I could create a farm where 90% of the produce goes back into the community alongside making instructional videos of how to grow, prepare, and preserve foods to help vulnerable families, and then give them the tools to teach others. I got 100% on that project. I was so proud. I am still proud, not was. One little glitch, we are not in the position to start that project in the way that I want it to be, but that's okay because I'm going to start the nonprofit and donate through it. And hopefully as my channel grows and I get monetized and I, can expand to Patreon and donations, I can make it a full functioning nonprofit that helps my community. And who knows, maybe even branch out to other bigger cities and, get everyone involved. With that said, the farm this year has been completely off track. I get it because of the weather, my personal mental health. I'm working 2 jobs. I'm trying to keep up with the everyday. I also moved home to take care of my parents. They are older. They cannot do a lot for themselves, which, I love them. So I don't mind that aspect of it, but some days it gets a lot when it comes to I have to do that and then do the farm. Now, even though my dad and I do not get along, he has been an integral part of helping me grow. We have a lot of seedlings and stuff, so he's the one that actually started all my seedlings and plantings because I've just been so busy. Also, a big thing that is holding me back is I am cleaning 50 years of garbage off of this property, and I'm doing it alone and fighting my father on everything. So that has been a big bummer. I do not really have the emotional and mental support from him, and it's just been like pulling teeth. And I'm exhausted, guys. I don't know what else to say on the matter. I will show you what I'm dealing with. I have cleaned probably about 70% of this stuff over the last, 3 years. It has been a lot. Also, I'm like fixing up the lawn and stuff, keeping it going to make it look nice. But basically, I've been taking care of the property and it's really hard to do it by myself. And Cody helps when he can, but I hate to ask him to do things on his days off. So my content may change if you want to see cleanup videos and things like that. But I have been very nervous to show that side of me because I hate it and I have a lot of trauma around it. So anyway, with that said, I'm gonna show you what else we've been doing here. So let's go. Like I said, not all things are bad. I do try to keep a positive attitude because what's the point of living life miserable? Anyway, my dad has started these seedlings, so I'm very thankful and we're very proud of where we are at. These should have been planted like this week, but like I said, the temperatures have dropped and it has been raining nonstop, so we can't even access the garden without sinking in. Just another reason why my garden plan is gonna look way different than what's out here once I get a chance to create the farm I want. So we have tomatoes and peppers and everything that like needs to have been planted weeks ago. I wish I filmed that. Yeah. Just my life, mental health, couldn't get out here to do it when I was dealing with a million other things. But my dad did do them, and I'm very, very excited to plant these when the time comes. We were in the process of called hardening off, which is when you bring your seedlings out during the day, having them out in the sun and the elements in the wind. They kind of get stronger. You can weed out which ones were gonna die out in the field anyway. And then you're supposed to transplant them in the like evening time. The evening time has been like freezing. And guess what? Our beach volleyball season has started and it has been a nightmare, okay? Also, the plant hanging here, we don't know what it is. Like my dad and I had a good laugh about it because it looks like a sunflower. I think like a rat or something like grabbed one of my bird seeds, so maybe it is a sunflower. Who knows? Maybe not. Plant identification, not my strongest class, okay? I could go and find a dichotomous key and see what it is. Maybe I will. Also, we have an olive tree that never gave olives. That's like another side project that like I need to figure out what the heck's going on. Anyway, I'm gonna now show you the vulnerable aspect of my life. So come on. Okay, so welcome to my hell. Not this is beautiful. As you can see, these have been outside. Like the hardening off has happened. Like these are giant tomatoes. Here we go, tomatoes. I think he did that for my sister. I think these are my sister's, I don't know. So plants looking great. The greenhouse gives me anxiety. And you can't see it, and I'm not gonna film it, but the ground I am standing on is soaked in motor oil. And I fight with my dad about it because this soil needs to be dug out and it needs to be disposed of and proper soil needs to be put in here. If we clean up the dirt, will be like a proper succession planting greenhouse because this is a heated greenhouse. We have natural gas. This is a heated greenhouse and it needs updates and my father fights me on everything that I want to do with it. So this is going to be a project in the future, but the project that I might take you down the road with me is cleanup. So all of this, all these tools, and I'm not throwing out a lot, it's just organizing because this, my heart hurts, okay? But this is the reality and like I slowly get overwhelmed with the things that need to be done and it's getting to me. Okay. Also, the fact that the weather has been cold has been getting to me. So that could be like, we're falling into like the winter depression again. But yeah, the one thing that mainly bothers me, my dad is very old school Italian and he doesn't dispose of things properly. And the more I dig and clean this property, the more I am horrified and scared for what I found as far as like oil and like, he just doesn't get rid of it. So this is all on my shoulders. Anywho, this is the greenhouse. This is one of my vulnerable things I wanted to show you. And with that said, I'm going to show you the next project that I think, honestly, I think my followers will like if I film it. So follow me. This has been 70% cleaned up, okay? It's mostly wood, so I'm not that worried about this, but I have to find the time to do it. I would also like to say that the side of my house is lined with walnut trees, and I think they have been affected by the locust borer insect because a lot of the trees are dying, they've become hazards. So now I have to slowly clean up and pay for an arborist to come take them down, or they fall and like you could see a bunch of dead stuff. Anyway, there's like scrap and garbage and everything along the way. I tried my best to clean it up until this point, but again, this project is usually mostly on me if Cody is not here, and it's a lot, and working and doing all that, I'm trying to take care of it because it's just gonna get worse, and my dad keeps collecting shit like that Belarus tractor. I nearly moved out that day. If you have an elderly father, keep him off Kijiji, okay? Especially if he collects other people's junk. All right, these are supposed to be for a nice greenhouse, but most of this glass has been broken. See, shattered. So now I have to clean up glass. Also, we cleaned up this whole area last summer. It was a nightmare. Anyway, so I just want to wake up one summer and be able to cut my grass up to the fence line and call it a day. So this adds to my anxiety because of some childhood trauma and clutter and everything that goes along with it. So yeah, I don't know what to show you next because some of it's like my actual house and I don't want to dox myself. This is half of it. There's another half that way. I have a beautiful deck, but under it is another 20 years of scrap and garbage that my dad has collected. And underneath my garage, my actual inside my garage, another thing, just 50 years of garbage and collection. And actually under my garage, I think I have to hire someone to clean out because everything's covered in toxic mold. Yay! I love my life. Anyway, I don't mean to shit on life, but it's just been difficult, okay guys? All right. But if you would like to see videos of me cleaning up stuff, let me know. I'm trying to get through this video, it's so cold. Anyway, this is one of the dead trees, and this is where I'm thinking it was the locust borer that did it, because you can see like where they've kind of bored and stuff. So this has been like a dead tree for many years, but this is happening to all my black walnut trees. And my dream is to, obviously if the trees are still good, I'm not cutting them down, but get rid of everything, you know, test the soil, see if it's the soil, all that. And then I want to grow just a line of sugar maples because it is my dream to also produce and make my own maple syrup. But did you know it's like 15 to 30 years before you can harvest syrup from sugar maples? So I gotta start now. But yeah, these black locusts are so great. I am super proud of this hosta. Like, look how big it is. I planted it 2 years ago, and like, you can't go wrong with hostas. Honestly, in your flower bed, if you are gonna plant something, I suggest planting a hosta because they take up a lot of space. They are shade plants though. Just a reminder, they don't like too much sun. They are shade plants. I feel like I'm in Fern Gully. I'm just a fairy. I'm super proud of this one. I'm not a huge fan of irises. My mom loves them, and these ones are kind of growing on me because they're like such a dark purple black. Like, I love them. I love the goth feel of them, and this weather is actually quite perfect for them. So look at that. That's my beautiful, beautiful little iris. Thank you, my little spades, for lasting this long in the video. I do apologize if it was on the negative side of things. I'm just trying to balance good content with being as transparent as I can with my audience. I created this channel to show my true self, and my true self suffers with mental health problems, and it's a struggle to just stay sober when I get very frustrated with things that I have to deal with. So it is my life's journey, and I just want to put it out there because I know a lot of you can probably relate to my situation, and farming isn't always sunshine and rainbows like you see in most channels. And for my farm and for my nonprofit Farm to Enable, it's going to take a little bit of time to get it up and running, and I just really wanted to take you on the journey with me so that we can one day look back on this video and be like, remember when? And that video will be sponsored by Canadian Tire. Anyway, my little spades, I'm so thankful for each and every one of you and all your support. And honestly, this farm. See ya.